I was asked to make a video about how I make my stamps like these for use on jelly plates. This is a little one, and yes, so I have a variety of them, of course, which are well used. You can see that. So the things you need are scissors, some masking tape of some sort, either sticky backed foam, craft foam, or you can use ordinary craft foam, but you'll have to use glue, probably tacky glue, to glue it on. And these little shapes are from a $2 shop, and they've got sticky back foam in them, and they're handy to use. You'll need some matboard, which is the offcuts from a picture framer, and I have a framer in Port Arlington. Their name is Artisan Framing, and they generously allowed me to have their offcuts so that I could use them up. So I'd like to promote them as well. Now, what you do, you measure out your mat board to the size of the plate that you're going to be using. So this is for a 6x6, and this is for a tiny square one. This is only 3x3. So what you do is you cut that out of the mat board and put the excess away, because you won't be needing that. And here, what I've done here, I've got two 6x6, and then I'm going to cut this piece that was left to make a border type stamp using these small pieces. So put that away. Right, so this is where we are now. Now the next thing is to decide what you want to put on here. Now what I do, I don't pre-plan it. I just go with the flow of the day, and I actually I love really organic shapes, so I'll do that today. Now this is for the large ones, and also you can put that on here if you want. Now the more of the foam that you have showing, that will take off more of the paint from the plate. So what you're actually doing is, where the foam is stuck on, that takes the paint off, and where the spaces are, that leaves the fully charged paint. So in actual fact, you're getting a fully charged and a ghost print on the paper at the same time. So here we go. Now you can choose to put it up to the edge if you want to, and I'll show you some of that maybe, but I just really go with what I'm feeling on the day. I just don't worry too much about anything. I just cut it out and peel this off. So what I'll do, I'll make one and show you what that looks like, and then you can get going and make your own. So that you've got a square edge there, so you could put that there if you wanted to. Right, now thinking of composition, we want to have a balance and we want to have odd numbers. So I think I'll put a shape in here, maybe a sort of a weird ovally sort of shape, or a teardrop maybe would be nice. And make sure that you make them all different sizes as well. You want to create interest in there. You don't want them all the same size. So I might put that with the point going towards the centre of the plate. Now we need to consider the top. Now, so what I could do is I could actually cut around this, I'll show you this, and use that shape on there as well if I wanted to, so that you've got some on and some off. So, and I might use that because that looks a bit different. So pull that off. Sometimes it's a little bit difficult to get it off. Right, so put it there like that. Over there a bit. Okay, so what's going to happen is it's going to lift the paint off onto here, but it's going to leave those areas. Now you can keep going and put more on if you want to, but the other thing you can do is use a sharp tool or a pencil or a skewer, and you can actually draw into it as well. So you might do some drawing as well into it. For this one you might put some lines over it. Right. And then you can go do this as well, like just to make it a bit more interesting. Right. So considering different sizes as well, on this one you might draw some more circles into it. These are just very simple shapes, but if you make your own stamps, they'll all go together on your work, and then you can put a dot in the middle of each one of those. They're a bit like seeds. Okay, so basically that's the basic idea. So that one, I'll just put that aside. Now let's do one of the small ones. So we'll take out some of these shapes. Now you might be a person who likes circles, or you might be a person who likes triangles, diamonds, rectangles, whatever you like. So you can put these onto the little one. And remember, we're talking about different sizes again. And the other thing you can do with these is you can put one on top of another. So see that? That's rather interesting. One of these. And I suppose you've already realised you can cut it in half as well. Put it going out the edges. Yeah. Just think about balance when you're doing it. Right, so some more round ones. A smaller one. And what about putting a couple close together like that? Right, that's it. And maybe another one of these. What about this size on top of that? It's a different size to that one, and that's half a one. And we might just put one more of these, which I'll draw into. And if you do it and you think, oh no, that's not quite right, just add, see, that's created counterbalance, but I think it needs a little one there, so I just need to find another little one, if there is a little one in here. I think I've used a lot of the dots. That's the only thing. Oh, this small one. Right, so yeah, one there. Okay, so you can see that, and you could still, if you wanted to, you could still draw into this to create another mark, maybe a bit through the middle, and some dots on here. Yeah, maybe some lines down on this one. Right, so can you see that? Right, now the next thing I do is I take a bit of tape, just rip it off. Now this is don't worry if this is not perfect, because it's not. These things are not meant to be long lasting. You need to be making new ones all the time, so that you've got. So that's a little handle to use as a step. Right. So this bit was the piece that was along the bottom of those two pieces of 6x6. So what I would do with that is I would create a border type situation so that you could use it any how you want it. Really, it's not and just using these little bits and pieces. But the thing is, because this is machine made, you've got to think about how you can make it your own. And you can do that by adding extra marks, adding extra layers, putting different spacing. But for consistency, you might think, well, no, I'd like to have all squares here. So you just keep going with what you feel you want to keep going with. Okay, so I'll put a couple on. Okay. And then one up the top there. Now, of course, if you cut this in half, that'd be the 6x6 one. But if you leave it big like that, it means you could use it on another size jelly plate. So always be thinking about how you can best utilise your materials. You want to get the best use out of everything. Now, what I could do here too is change the shape of this a little bit, still based on, 4 sides, still based on that idea of the square, right? And then you might put one going this way down. Now I probably put 2 there, so I need to cut another one. Green one will do. You could even make these different thicknesses, just to create variety. Always be thinking about how can I change it? How can I make it more interesting? How can I make it less like something that you bought at the shop? Something you want to make it look like something you made yourself, which is what you're doing. Okay, now I need another little square. Getting there. Now, have you noticed that at the end there's a diamond? Right, so, or I should say a rect, not a diamond. Goodness me, honestly, I've forgotten my triangle. That's what I'm after. I'm thinking of triangle, not diamond. How silly. But you could make a diamond by adding 2 triangles together. So you could do this too. And by the way, it doesn't matter what colour these are. No issue with that at all. So you can make a smaller one for here. Here, no, maybe I'll just put one there. Right, and we need one somewhere in here, a very small one, just for continuity, that's all. Right, okay. Right, so it needs something there. And I reckon that I can make that like that. Always really didn't know what to do with this craft foam until I discovered this, and honestly it's the easiest thing to do. Right, so we've got that. Now perhaps you'd like something on there as well, over the top of the triangle, so that it's got something different, because what happens is it creates an edge around that where the two bits meet, which can be quite interesting really, and you'll get hits and misses with it, which I like because I always like the happy accident. I've always liked that. It's just something that I think enhances your work. Right, so there's that one, and you can also put a couple of handles on that one so that you can get to it. One there, one there. Right, so there they are, 3 stamps. You can see how quickly you can make them. And the other thing is, I'll do another video and I'll show you them printed and whether I need to change anything. So you can see how much fun you can have with that, and you'll end up with hundreds of stamps. Okay, cheerio.